going on.
Thank you so much.
Feel like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ, you up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. I'm Mike Babcock with my guy, as always, Mojo Ohtani. Mojo, we're going to start in a place where I don't want to start, but we've got to talk about Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The New York Knicks at home at Madison Square Garden against their rival Indiana Pacers. Mojo, the Knicks were up 17 points in the fourth quarter. They were up 14 points with less than 3 minutes left in this game, and they suffered one of the most epic collapses in NBA history. Collapse, choke, I think all of the words apply here, Mojo. Now, it wasn't just the Knicks making mistakes. It was also the Indiana Pacers going on a furious run where they could not miss a shot, Mojo. They could not miss a three-pointer, and they clawed their way back with no time left on the clock. Ultimately, Mojo, and they almost lost in overtime, but watch this shot here, as you have probably seen. Tyrese Haliburton, the Pacers star, almost loses the ball, decides to go near the three-point line, and he heaves up a shot that hits the back rim. It bounces something like 8, 9, 10 feet in the air, Mojo, and right down through the bottom of the hoop. Now, Knicks fans thought, and the Pacers thought, that they had just lost the game, or the Knicks had just lost the game, that the Pacers had won it because they thought this was a three. Turns out that Tyrese's big toe was on the line, so it was only a two-pointer. But that was not before he hit the Reggie Miller choke celebration, Mojo. If you remember back, it was the Eastern Conference Finals, 1994. Reggie Miller had scored there it was. He was fast and furiously, just three after three after three. The Pacers beat the Knicks in that Game 5. Now, the Knicks ended up coming back and winning that Eastern Conference Finals and actually moving on to the NBA Finals, where they ultimately lost to the Houston Rockets. But with Reggie Miller on the call, on the broadcast, Tyrese Haliburton, he pulled off the choke celebration. Now, obviously, the Pacers go on to win in overtime by 3 points. As Tyrese Haliburton met with the stunned media. They were stunned just like everybody else. He talked about the celebration. Was it a good move? Was it a bad move? Will he do it again? Here's Tyrese with the answers.
Do you think it was a three in the moment?
Yeah, for sure. But quickly in my celebration, somebody said it was a two.
When did the choke idea come to you?
In the moment, I wasn't like plotting on it or anything. Everybody wanted me to do it like last year at some different point. But it's just gotta feel right. And it felt right at the time. If it would have been, if I would have known it was a two, I would not have done it. So I think I might have wasted it. If I do it again, then people might say I'm like aura farming. So I'm not, I don't plan on using it again.
Well, Babcock, there's a lot that I could say about this game because it was that insane, but you're the New York guy. I'm not, so I'm going to introduce a new segment to the show, Babcock, called the Open Mic segment. This segment, the rules are I say nothing and you do all the talking because you're obviously way more passionate about this than I am. So take it away. Open mic. Here.
Look, first of all, from an NBA standpoint, it was the most exciting game of the entire playoffs. This is what NBA basketball is about, and especially playoff basketball. So from a viewership standpoint, it was awesome. If you're a Knicks fan, this is as hard a game to swallow, as hard a loss to swallow as you will ever encounter. To think that you, again, up 14 points with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock, Mojo. There was no doubt in anybody's mind that the Knicks were winning this game. And then as they slowly began to collapse and you start to say, no, this cannot possibly happen, and then you watch it happen, I think you probably had a good feeling that in overtime the Knicks were not going to be able to win. That is an emotional way to have the score tied at the end of overtime, and it's tough to claw back and to fight back in a situation like that. Now I think the question is here, Mojo, you don't win a 7-game 4-game series in one game, despite how bad of a loss it is. So the Pacers still need to win 3 more games, and the Knicks still need to lose 3 more games. But I think it's very fair to ask the question now, have the Knicks' backs been broken here, and can they claw back? It's not just the fans that thought the Knicks won this game. The players thought they won this game too, Mojo. And now to be sitting in a place where they've got to play 48 more minutes just to get back to a place where they already thought that they were, it's a daunting task. I will say this, especially in the playoffs, the Knicks have been incredibly resilient. Go back to those games against the Celtics. First 2 games, they were down 20 points. The Knicks were able to claw back. They are a tough team, and they're going to need every ounce of that toughness. They return to the basketball court on Friday, Mojo. They've got to win that game, too, in my mind.
He'll backpedal a 3 for the win, and goal! He got it!
Fresh off a dominant performance over the Diamondbacks, Dodgers pitcher Dustin May joins the show. The right-hander opens up on a very serious throat surgery and how he thought he'd never live a normal life again. Stay with us. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike Babcock here. Dodgers fresh off a big win last night, 3-1 behind an absolutely very strong performance by Dustin May. Goes 6 innings, allows only 1 earned run, strikes out 8, and we are so fortunate to have Dustin here with us right now. Dustin, brother, how are you?
I am great. A little long travel night, but we're here. Yeah,
I was going to say we're doing this kind of early, Dustin. I was watching you last night. You haven't had much time to rest and kind of chill since you left that mound last night.
Yeah, we got on a plane right after the game, and then it was a nice 5-hour flight. Landed in New York at about 8:30 a.m. and then got to the hotel about 9:30. So in between a little sleep schedule right here, but yeah. Glad to be on.
That's very cool. Dustin, not necessarily just looking at last night, but after everything that you've been through, to have what I think people could say was arguably your strongest outing of the season, given the injuries, the surgeries, the freak accident, how satisfying is all of this to have last night, to go out there, to be helping the team win after everything that you've been through the last couple of years?
Very. I mean, just being able to go out and just compete is always a positive in my book at this point. I just need to go out and play because I've been out for so long. So just being able to just do it to the amount that I've been excited to just be back out with the guys.
Do you still feel like you're getting to that place where you are the best Dustin May? Are you still working up to that point?
Yeah. I definitely think there's more to come for sure. Still getting my feet kind of back under me. Definitely getting closer, but I do feel like there's a little bit more that I could do.
Obviously, it's such a fine line between being great and maybe not having it anymore. Was there a point ever, Dustin, as you're going through the surgeries and then what happens with the choking incident, was there ever a point where you said to yourself, maybe that's it for me and I just had a couple of bad breaks that have really impacted my career?
It definitely had crossed my mind after my throat surgery that I might not be able to get back just because the severity of it and the unknowingness of moving forward. It's not really like a baseball injury, so it's a little bit different rehab, a little bit different, like trying to take care of your body and trying to get back into the normal, just day-to-day life. Like I was honestly worried that I wasn't going to live like a normal day-to-day life after that surgery because of it is such a rare thing and like it's not like a normal procedure to do, especially on a young person, and definitely not on somebody that has to use their body in like such a way that a professional athlete does, especially a pitcher or any professional athlete in general. I'm very lucky and blessed, and I thank the Lord a lot for giving me the ability and strength to overcome it.
Real quick before we move on to DirecTV, which the commercial is absolutely hysterical and it's gotten, it's been received so well online. I wanted to ask you about your teammate Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, we've seen what Shohei has continued to do at the plate. Now, as he continues to ramp up, I'm sure you're a guy who throws next to him at times. How has Shohei Ohtani looked? What are the prospects looking like for him returning to the mound? And how helpful will that be? How much of a boost will that be for your ball club?
Oh yeah, definitely thrown with him, or not with him, but like next to him a few times. Ball's coming out very well. He's looking good in his bullpens. Just starting to spin stuff the other day, so he's progressing nicely. It'll be huge. I mean, we need a boost in the rotation right now because we're down quite a few guys. So just being able to have him and a few guys be back, and hopefully a short amount of time would be really great.
All right, let's talk DirecTV. Sometimes when we're talking to people about plugs that they're doing, some of the stuff is like, oh, it's boring. This is hilarious. The commercial with you and Christian and Dansby is absolutely amazing. Of course, it's DirecTV's Nothing on Your Roof 2.0 campaign. Talk to me about the campaign. Talk to me about what DirecTV has going on, Dustin.
Yeah. When they reached out about the Nothing on Your Roof thing, I thought it was a really good idea because I do pride myself about having good hair. And when they brought it up about putting a ball cap on and having nothing on your roof, because that's what they're doing with no satellite dishes on their roof, I thought it was a really good play on things.
Yeah.
Got a good group of guys, and I thought the commercial turned out very good.
You were really good in it personally, too. Do you have any acting ambitions? Obviously, you're in the right town for it.
I mean, if somebody calls, I think I'd give it a shot, but I wouldn't say that I am a professional at it by any means.
Right. And I'm sure you made sure when they did talk about the concept that this was going to be a bald cap and you were not going to have to actually shave your head, at least partially.
Yes, very much so. I don't think my wife would have liked that very much if I had to do that.
Your hair's too good to do all that. Dustin, congratulations on getting back, brother. So happy to see you out there. Continued success, and we'll all be watching.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sad news from the NFL. Colts owner Jim Irsay suddenly dies at 65 years old. Peyton Manning reflects on the life of his longtime boss when TMZ Sports returns right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports, Mike and Mojo. Mojo, some sad news in the NFL. Colts owner Jim Irsay has died at the age of 65 years old. I'm sure most people have heard about this sad news by now. Jim, we are told, passed away in his sleep, and obviously is somebody who is now being mourned across the league. We're actually going to hear from, or we'll read you some of the reaction of two of the best players that ever wore that Colts uniform. But first, Mojo, I mean, he was a guy who, if you listen to anybody who knew him, the guy was in the organization from the time he graduated college. He actually played linebacker at Southern Methodist University. Mojo suffered an injury, was not able to continue his football playing career, but went on to study broadcast journalism, and then he goes to work for the Colts, which was owned by his dad. His dad then passes away, and at a young man, really, in his 30s, Mojo, he takes over ownership and went on to win a Super Bowl and really turned that organization around. Away from the football side of things, Mojo, you want to talk about just a bunch of guys who are business people who own these teams, who are suits, right? Who are worried about the bottom line, and that was not Jim Irsay. This guy was a unique individual who really had an awesome personality, and I think that's what made him stand out. We mentioned, Mojo, some of his players who are really missing him today. At the top of that list is the great Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning reminiscing about Jim. Here's what he had to say on social media. I am heartbroken to hear about Jim Irsay's passing. He was an incredibly generous and passionate owner, and I will always be indebted to him for giving me my start in the NFL. His love for the Colts and the city of Indy was unmatched. His impact on the players who played for him will not be forgotten. My thoughts and prayers are with his family and everyone in the Colts community. He will be missed. Jim, rest in peace, my friend. And he signs it number 18. Mojo, also the great T.Y. Hilton, of course, standout receiver for Indianapolis. Here's what he had to say. Please don't ask me if I'm okay, because I'm not. Thank you so much, Mr. Irsay. I will forever hold our talks close to my heart. Love you. Rest in peace, Mr. Irsay.
Yeah, I mean, you hear what Peyton Manning had to say, and obviously Peyton's probably the best player ever maybe to put on a Colts uniform. But reading T.Y.'s comments, I mean, my goodness, that just shines through how much he really cared for the owner of the franchise. And, I guess that's just kind of, I hate to say it, but it's almost like crazy in this day and age, because how many players hate their owner? How many fan bases absolutely despise their owners? I mean, growing up in the D.C. area, I mean, we certainly had tons of that where I came from. And shoot, I played for teams where I didn't like the owners or the management necessarily, that, really had no vested interest in me personally. One of those guys, you talk about players, coaches, players, owners are even less popular and less common. So, I mean, this just shows you what kind of guy he is, that, despite the billions of dollars that are on the line, he still found a way to have great relationships with his players, to make these relations personal and not just business focused. I mean, if you knew nothing else about Jim Irsay, I mean, that should tell you everything. Really fortunate that he passed in his sleep with no pain. Obviously, there can be some tough ways to go, and I mean, that's probably the way we would all want to hope we went out in the end. Really sad, too, feeling like this one just kind of came out of the blue, just a little bit of a shock to everybody. But this is going to be tough for the Colts community. He's been the guy there for decades. I mean, that family name is synonymous with the Colts franchise, and the whole community is going to be mourning for a while. But again, that T.Y. Hilton, man, that tweet gets you in your feels.
Yeah, it really does, Mojo. It's unclear what's going to happen now with the organization, who is going to take over ownership, who will run the club. So that all remains to be seen. Just real quick before we move on, too, I know obviously you first think about football when you think about Jim Irsay, but he is somebody who very publicly struggled with addiction issues over the years. And most people who are in that situation, Mojo, they will shy away or they're embarrassed by it. But that was never Jim Irsay. And he leaned into that, showing that, hey, look, it doesn't matter where you come from. Addiction issues can affect and, have an impact on anybody out there. And he really did so much for people dealing and struggling with addiction as well as mental health. And I think that he may not be here with us anymore, but I think there are a lot of people who are currently living good, positive, impactful lives, Mojo, because of Jim Irsay's impact on their lives. And that's something that I think, maybe above all else, sports aside, that's his most important legacy, Mojo, and he will obviously be missed. Coming up, WWE Superstar Alexa Bliss tells us what it's like to be back on the road. Not just as a wrestler, but as a mom. We'll hear from the 5-time WWE Women's Champion when TMZ Sports rolls on right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike and Mojo. Mojo, WWE Superstar Alexa Bliss back with the wrestling promotion after a little bit of time away, of course. Alexa and her husband, as you're very well aware, Mojo, Ryan Cabrera, had an adorable little baby girl named Hendrix in late 2023. Well, now that Alexa is back with WWE, we recently saw her at LAX, Mojo, and we asked her about being on the road with a little baby.
Feel like rusty, or you had it all, you still had it?
It was more of a, can I fit in my gear again?
And you could? I'm surely you could. Could I ask, you're going on the road with your baby, that sort of stuff? How is, work life going to be different now that you're a mum?
I think it's more of just balancing time with the baby, but, they've been so great about bringing her on the road, and she's got her own, setup when we go, and she loves it, and it's been great.
That's awesome that you took such, a long maternity leave. My wife only got a few weeks or what, and...
Oh, they were great about it.
If you could take it as longer, the better.
Yeah, they were so great about it. I got a whole year with her, and it was fantastic.
That's awesome how accommodating they are.
Yeah, it was so great.
Well, Babcock, first of all, I love that creep sitting there in the background just hanging over her shoulder like a weirdo. I have no idea who that person is, but I guarantee you he's a terrible breakdancer. Anyways, moving on. Hey, this was a big thing for Lexi, you know, coming back. I mean, she had her first kid, little Hendrix, who is so much fun, so adorable, so cute. Also looks exactly like Ryan, which is really, really funny to me. But, you know, when you're a new mom and you're going back on the road for a full-time job, a crazy circus that WWE is, I mean, that's a big concern. I mean, what are you going to do with your kid? Because keep in mind, too, Ryan is still touring. He's performing. He's DJing. He's all over the place. Wow. So that was like a big concern in the household here. And, you know, luckily we were all able to come together and find a way to make things work. And, you know, that was a big thing with Lexi coming back. Obviously, if you saw her at the Royal Rumble, that pop that she got on her return was insane. I mean, it was easily the loudest reaction of the night. I'll put it up there with biggest reactions in Royal Rumble history, which is a statement considering those comebacks at the Rumble. I mean, that's the whole reason they structure the entire show. Comebacks and reveals and all of these things. I mean, that is why people watch the Rumble, and for her to be at the top of that was just insane. But yeah, it's really cool that she's back on the road. The fans are loving it, and that little Hendrix is squared away, safe. And I know everyone backstage is so happy she's there. They're all getting their Hendrix time in while Mama has to work.
That's so awesome. Congratulations to her. And absolutely, I mean, you can tell how happy the fans are that they've got Alexa Bliss back after, again, something like a year and a half or so away from the ring. All right, Mojo, speaking of going away, it's time for us to go away until tomorrow. We got a bunch planned. I'm going to try and regroup. We're going to get ready for Game 2, New York Knicks, Mojo. We're going to tie this thing up one game apiece. It's going to be a great show tomorrow.
That's right, because if not, we got another open mic segment coming to you. We'll see you tomorrow where it'll be the best show since today.
I'm a lawyer.